And then the King James Version came up, and that really, well, my Greek teacher got mad and got up and walked out. He said, I'm not going to be part of this, and he left. And he was going to speak the service that night.
He was supposed to speak
he was supposed
the charge.
Yeah, to give me the charge. He gave me the charge already.
Got him walked out.
And I said, I will not pastor a church with lady deacons.
It's unbiblical.
So,
Unscriptural.
and they said, well, why not? And I showed them the scripture.
How about that?
They'd never seen it. Don't ask me how they never saw it, but they never saw it.
Had never seen it.
Said they never did.
Aren't you glad that God has grace on the ignorant?
Yeah.
Paul said, I did it in ignorance.
They both resigned immediately. So my first Christian assignment, they put you on Christian assignment when you're in Pensacola. So you have to go out once a week and do something,
Yes.
evangelism or whatever. A friend of mine and I met a guy down there, and he became friends of mine. His focus was on being a Christian school teacher. Mine was on I was going to be a pastor.
Yes.
Is what I was thinking. I didn't even know what a rescue mission was. I've never been in one.
Right.
Yeah. So anyhow, they teamed us together, and we went into Escambia County Jail every week. And I did the preaching, the evangelism, and if we would lead somebody to the Lord, he would help with the follow-up.
Right.
Okay, he's a teacher. So the first few weeks, nothing happened. I'd be standing between two cells. There'd be 8 or 10 guys in this cell, 8 or 10 guys in this cell, and they would take and run spoons back and forth across the bars to
anything to be
try to
disturbed.
distract me. They had toilets right in the cell. They'd flush the toilets. They'd take water out of the toilet and throw it on me. Okay.
Yep.
Doing anything. So I ended up taking the old rattiest Bible I had because my Bible kept getting wet.
Ruined. They didn't know they was messing with the Marine that done been through gangrene.
Right.
You guys, what do you think? You can't run off a Marine that's been through gangrene, boys.
So the one guy comes up to me. He said, "Don't get too close to the cell. There's a Muslim in here swears he's going to kill you if you get close."
Wow.
No, I'm telling you what's true.
Now, that's real.
That's real. So I got to where I didn't know if I was really called to do this or not because I wasn't seeing anything. And then I asked the Lord, I said, if you want me to preach, then I need to see somebody get saved. I said, I can't go on like this.
Yeah.
So some people started getting saved.
Wow.
Not a whole lot, not a whole bunch, but
he wouldn't let you quit enough to where you couldn't quit.
One or two here and there every other week, and then we'd follow up with them. And finally, the Lord showed me it's what He wanted me to do.
Wow.
And so then I got to working with Andy Bloom up at Cantonment Baptist Church, and that's where I got ordained.
Wow.
Yeah, I was up there.
Amazing.
And had a Greek professor who was there at my ordination, and he and Pastor Bob Taylor, who was a campus pastor
right
at Campus Church,
yes,
and 4 or 5 other local preachers were there at the ordination, and they got into 2 arguments. One was over Calvinism.
Right.
Right in the middle of my ordination service.
Right in the middle of your ordination service.
Yeah. And I mean, it wasn't any, nowadays they have you to where you can type out this big long thesis and all these things typed out. You had your Bible.
Yeah, and you had to be able to answer.
And you had to answer.
Boom, 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 boom.
You had to know where you were going.
I remember that very well.
You had to know where you were going in it, and what you believed.
Yes.
And that was ordination.
Yes.
And so
these guys couldn't even agree on what they believed, and they're asking you.
No, they're getting in a hoorah, I mean, really. And then the King James Version came up, and that really. Well, my Greek teacher got mad and got up and walked out. He said, "I'm not going to be part of this," and he left. And he was going to speak the service that night.
He was supposed to speak
he was supposed
the charge.
Yeah, to give me the charge. He gave me the charge already.
Got him walked out.
So I'm outside waiting. They're deliberating, and he walked out. That's when he walked out. So I'm out there thinking, oh, man, this is bad. This guy's walked out. He's supposed to do this. I'm done,
Yeah.
So I'm sweating bullets out there for over an hour, and they finally come out and pulled me in. And they said that, I was going to be ordained. And the guy who was the pastor of the church gave me the charge, Andy Bloom. Bob Taylor was there, and a couple other local preachers. And they told me, and I just lost it. I was an emotional mess.
Right.
You know, I thought for sure. I had people come in from Texas, from Philadelphia,
from all over
for my ordination.
Yeah, and then this
and
thing,
it wasn't going to happen.
It wasn't going to happen.
I mean, I was dead meat, man. I couldn't believe this.
Right,
you know?
right.
So anyway, that happened, and then I'm graduating from Pensacola, and had a couple of opportunities. One in North Carolina, a friend of mine had a church there that, humanly speaking, you would say you ought to take that because it was a nice, established, independent Baptist church, all the right stuff going for it. But I said, I'm going to talk to the first group that talks to me. And somebody else up in Maine had a guy who had gone to a Sword of the Lord conference, got all fired up, came back, started a Bible study, had 5 families, and they wanted to turn it into a church. Okay. And I had that, and I had this group from North Carolina at the same time, but this group asked me first to consider them.
Right.
Now, I could have just said, forget this, man. I'm going over here. Right. Everything is there. Salary, everything is there, you know?
Yep.
But not old hardhead, you know. I told her, I said, look, we said we were going to the first one and see what's what. So anyway, so we went up, and sure enough, it was 5 families. And they were meeting in an old Quaker church.
Wow.
With the outhouse in the vestibule.
In the vestibule.
In the vestibule. But you walked in, on this side was a 2-hole outhouse.
A 2-holer.
So you could have fellowship.
Yes.
I am serious.
Hey, welcome to Maine.
and in the wintertime, 50 below, and they didn't count wind chill.
No wind chill, didn't they?
No, that don't count. So, and the ice would be in the outhouse. The ice would be formed on the walls, and you're sitting there. Yeah.
You're
anyway,
in Maine. You're in Maine.
And on the other side of that vestibule was a woodshed. Okay, right. And they had a potbelly stove that took a 4-foot log. Okay.
Wow.
And those scoundrels were lumberjacks, and they were giving me green wood to burn. Of course, I was the young preacher.
Right.
See, I'm only 30 years old.
Right.
And they gave me that, and here I'm taking all night long. It's 30, 40 below, and they're wanting me to get a fire going so it's hot enough, so we can have church Sunday morning.
And they got green
wood. And I'm
wood.
in there with a gallon of kerosene, trying to keep that thing going. And as fast as that fire is getting hot, the sap inside it's putting the fire out.
Right.
Yeah. And there was a balcony that they turned into a nursery, and that had a wood stove. And I was in there all night long
trying to get that
as opposed to get up and preach in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And so everybody come in with blankets, you know, and
wow.
So we had that for 3.5 years.
3.5 years in Maine, started 5 families.
And got it up to around 170 or so.
Wow.
And I mean to tell you, it was
work.
When we would go. I ran one of the buses, and we'd go where we would go. The pine trees were so thick and so low they would take the paint off the top of the bus.
Wow.
And you'd go to a tar paper shack, and out would come a lady with 4 kids, 2 dogs, and 3 cats in that one room shack.
In that little one room.
And they'd climb on the bus.
Wow.
And that's what we started with. Then we got 10 acres of property.
Paris Island isn't the only boot camp in America.
That was just a warm-up. Yeah. That was a warm-up. Really.
I know.
I really believe,
my dad would say his first church in Idaho, handful of families. You ought to see the building. I found a picture of it the other day.
Yeah.
It looks like a mud adobe building.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's made out of. Little box.
Yep.
Dad said, son, God has boot camp.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He knows how to start you out. So we got the guy who got the Bible study going. He owned a logging company. Okay, and the guys worked for him.
Yeah.
All right. And so he had a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we had bought 10 acres property, paid cash. We're building, had under roof. It was 160 feet long, 60 feet wide. Took the widest wood truss they made up there.
Wow, made it as wide as you could make it.
Wide as you could make it with wood.
Right.
It was a wood truss, had a balcony in it, would seat 500 people.
Wow.
We were going to have our own Christian school.
Yes.
All that, you know.
Headed in that direction.
Nearest Christian school was 50 minutes away.
Wow.
In Portland. So anyway, then trouble came. And we had a couple that was living together, and they just wanted to join the church, and they had friends in high places in the church. He was one of them, the guy who owned everything. And I said, I can't have him join church like this.
No.
And so he called me down. My office was a spare room he had in his house. I mean, they put us in a 60-foot trailer when we got there. When we brought all our stuff up in the U-Haul, there was just a cement pad there. Okay. It was, right. First of all, it was supposed to be a foundation under the trailer so that we could have living quarters down there.
Right.
All they did, and the trailer wasn't there.
It wasn't even there.
So we had to live out of the U-Haul for a week.
Wow.
Sleeping in his house, but
Wow.
had all our stuff in the U-Haul until the trailer got set up.
Wow. It was a disaster from the word.
Oh yeah, it was fun. Yeah. so anyway, we got to this point after 3.5 years, and he called me down, and we still, now the church is under roof.
Yes, sir.
Had siding on it, windows were getting put in, and it was all paid cash.
Wow.
I mean, he was putting thousands of dollars.
Right.
Just into that, not counting other projects he was funding. I mean, he was there.
Right.
But all the men in the church worked for him.
Oh, wow.
So even though they agreed with me that it was wrong to have this couple join the church, they couldn't go against him. They didn't want to lose their job because there was no job up there. If you didn't work for him, you didn't work for anybody.
Right.
You're out cutting wood by yourself. So anyway, he called me down and he said, here's your choice. He said, if you insist on not letting them come, he said, then that church will never be finished.
Wow.
He said it will sit there empty as a monument to you, you know. And I said, well, I can't have that. And I said, but I can't have them join the church either.
Yeah.
So the next Sunday I got up and read my resignation.
Yeah.
And I said, if I'm the problem, your problems are over. I said, but if I'm not the problem, they're only just getting started. And that church is nothing now.
Non-existent.
Oh.
Wow.
So anyway, that was a heartbreak. We're talking about how God has worked in our life.
Right.
Okay, this is all part of the plan.
It's not all sunshine and roses.
No, sir.
You had a great, prosperous ministry there. God did amazing things.
All I had to do was compromise.
And you could have...
All I had to do was compromise.
Dr. Dan Williams said one time, he said, Joseph could have kept his coat, but he would have lost his character.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You got that right.
He could have kept his coat.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And he'd have prospered.
Yeah.
In the world's eyes.
Yeah.
But he'd have lost his character.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it seems like to me, Brother Bittner, every man of God worth his salt has to come to that crossroads at some point.
Yes, sir.
Where you can have peace and prosperity, and that's a lie, but that's the offer.
Yeah.
For your character.
Well, we left there and came back to Maryland. Okay, to nothing.
And what year would that have been, just for context?
Let's see. I graduated from college in 1980.
In 80.
So it'd be about 84.
About 84. Okay.
About 84.
She come back to Maryland, 1984.
Come back to Maryland, and her grandmother was dying and did die, and we got to stay in her grandmother's house. It was just a small little 2-bedroom house, but it was just the two of us. We didn't have any kids, and so we stayed there, and I got a job working on a big dairy farm.
Wow.
And I'm there on that dairy farm because I wouldn't compromise up in Maine, and the devil was on my shoulder.
Look what you've done. Look,
every pitchfork full of manure.
mucking stalls.
Yes, sir.
And
That's what I was doing.
And they call it muck.
Yeah.
For a reason.
Mucking stalls. That's what it was. And I'm in there with hardly any ventilation, and the sweat's pouring down off of me, and I'm crying out loud, looking up to heaven, saying, God, how long are you going to keep me here?
Right.
I did.
Yeah. And that's real.
For months.
That's real. And that's painful to the soul.
So then this little church out in Union Bridge area, Bark Hill Bible Church, and they had come out of the Church of God movement.
Wow.
And not the tongue talking crowd,
No.
the other
I understand.
ones, you know. They were Bible church. They were Baptistic, okay.
A lot of the Bible churches are. They're Baptist in doctrine.
They are.
I've always wondered, and I've never asked. I probably get comments about this, but I've always wondered what was the reason that they didn't put Baptist in their name, because when you walk through the 7 tenets, there's a lot of those Bible churches that nail those.
Oh yeah, this one did.
They're Baptist, just not in name.
Well, the only problem with this one was they had 2 women deacons.
Sure.
So,
but that's a little bit of that legacy that they come out of.
Yeah, that's right. So anyhow, they asked me to come and fill the pulpit, so I did, and one thing led to another, and I'm there every week, and then they're wanting me to candidate, and I said, well, I can't do that, and they said, why? And I said, because you have 2 lady deacons here, and I said, I will not pastor a church with lady deacons.
Unbiblical.
So,
unscriptural.
and they said, well, why not? And I showed them the scripture.
How about that?
They'd never seen it. Don't ask me how. They never saw it, but they never saw it.
Had never seen it.
Said they never did.
Aren't you glad that God has grace on the ignorant?
Yeah.
Paul said, I did it in ignorance.
They both resigned immediately. Right then. They said, we're done.
What we wouldn't do for a generation of Bible believers like
right
that.
Right then, both of them. They didn't even blink. They said, we didn't know it was in there.
Never saw that. We're done.
We're done.
We want what God wants.
So we had a couple guys there that we brought in as interims,
right,
for a little while, and I got voted in. And so,
wow, against all odds. And that's, again, the same devil that sat up there and said, you could have this, just compromise, is sitting there going, well, now they want you.
Now I had
just got to keep your mouth shut.
I had a 2-hole outhouse inside up in Maine, and I had a 1-hole outhouse outside
at this church.
Okay. So
I can't decide if we upgraded or not, but here we are.
I don't know. But anyway, so they had a parsonage, which is gone now because it was so old that when we moved out, they tore it to the ground.
Okay, yeah.
It was nothing. It was over 140 years old. Anyway, we lived in it. We lived in it for almost 4 years.
How about that?
And had our 3 kids there.
Wow.
Yeah. So
and your kids are, who's the oldest?
Rachel is 42, 43.
And then you're...
Then Barbara is she's like
30-ish. Well, that's good.
39,
okay.
Somewhere around a couple of years later, and then Stephen is the next one.
Okay.
Just a couple of years
and
later.
you had all 3 of them while you were at that church.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I had Rachel was in Maine.
Rachel was in Maine, and then you
had
brought her to the other church. You had all 3 of them there.
Yeah, had them all 3 there. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, we we're just I'm working on a dairy farm, and the church starts growing. I mean, down there it was like 35 or 40 people, whatever, and we got that up over 110 or 115, and I was able to drop my work at the farm, and we could actually live
watching
on
God
what
bless.
they were doing. We had to be careful, and
Sure.
all that. And then Jana's grandfather, who had been preaching at the mission forever, and the mission's been there since 1956. Not in that location, but
since
it's
1956.
yeah. And
We're our
so
70th year this year.
70
yeah.
years of
That's
the
right.
Baltimore Rescue Mission.
Yes, sir. And I'm the second. He's the third director.
3 in 70 years.
Yeah.
That's unheard of. That is unheard of.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're going down there, and Raleigh was dying with type 1 diabetes and kidney failure. He was 57 years old.
Oh my.
That's Raleigh Holt, the first director
The
who
first
came
director.
from Detroit Bible College.
Came from Detroit.
And he was there 31 years.
31 years. You were
Yes.
there 36 years. And how long you been there, Brother George, now?
3 years now.
3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Well, time flies.
Yeah, it does. So anyway, he would sit in there at night, and he didn't have a chaplain at the time, and he'd sit in there at night and hear the preachers coming in, and he heard me, and he liked me, for some reason. Anyway, and I liked him, and I liked the mission, and I thought, this is great,
Yes, yeah.
But I'd go down there once a month and preach for him, for Pop.
That's how it starts, isn't it, Brother George?
We call
Once a month.
we
Somebody
call
will
it-
ask you to come once a month. You'll end up there for a lifetime.
Yeah, so he would have me come down there with him, and I would preach, and he was the godliest man.
Wow.
That old man, when he died when he was 96. That day, the day before, he went out, and some people were cutting down a big tree in the neighbor's yard. He wanted to go out and see that. He was a machinist.
Right?
Had hands like you wouldn't believe, 96. Anyway, he always took a nap in the afternoon. He came back that afternoon, laid down. Grandma was down in the basement. She had a TV down there. She'd watch something in the afternoon. She's watching that. He's sleeping. Supper time came. She went over to wake him up. He's in heaven.
Wow.
Drove the car to church that Sunday.
Drove to church that Sunday.
Yeah. Never been to the hospital. Nothing.
Just went, man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how I want to go.
No, I'm telling you. And he is the one that I told George about, that he would, when I'd see him, he'd grab me by the hand and look me in the eye and say, "Brother, do you love him?" Not how's the mission, not how's the family, not how's the weather, not
Brother,
how's the Orioles.
Do you love him?
Do you love him? Not are you a Christian?
Brother, do you
Do
love
you
him?
love him?
Wow.
Yeah.
Boy, that'll get you in the heart.
Woo! Man, I needed that. I mean, that was something I never ever forgot.
Wow.
Never
Sure
ever
got
forgot.
me.
Yeah, it gets me. Just
Yes,
hearing
sir.
it.
I'm telling you what. But man,
Tell him his name, Brother Chuck.
Arthur Jennings Long.
Arthur Jennings Long.
Yeah.
Brother, do you love him?
He had a garage. Tell him what he had over the garage.
Amos 4:12. Prepare to meet thy God. You didn't come in there without getting preached to.
You were going to get preached to.
Yes, sir.
How
You were
about-
going
was
to
it
get
a
preached
service garage? Like,
to. Yeah, cars. And he in his 80s, he was pulling engine blocks with a block and tackle. He was pulling engines out, rebuilding them from scratch. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he was something else. So
Wow.
I'd go and see him, and how you doing, Pop? He said, I'm kind of in low gear. I'm kind of in low gear. But he was something.
downshifted.
But we so I'd go down there with him for that time, and then I'd had Raleigh come up to our church and present the mission and had him preach, and so we started supporting the mission. Raleigh said, "Brother," he said, "I want you to pray about being the director." He said, "I'm not going to be here long." He said, "I believe God wants you to be the director." And I said, "Well, I appreciate the thought." I said, "But I really think the Lord's called me to be a pastor, brother." He said, "Well, I want you to pray about it. Will you do that?" And I said, "Well, brother, So 2 years went by, and she and I, neither one of us would pray about it.
Right.
We talked about it and said, forget it,
Yeah.
We like going down there once a month,
Yeah.
but I'm not going down to that city every day.
Right.
I'm not going down there every day, and I want to be a pastor. I'm going to have a Christian school, and I'm going, this is what I'm going. That's what I'm going to do.
Right.
See,
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, ended up, and he was getting weaker, but he was still able to be there. So then Clarence Sexton,
Yes, sir.
when he was pastoring in Patterson, New Jersey.
New Jersey, right across from the.
All right. So he had a preacher's fellowship. Shelton Smith and I'd gone to his church when he was pastoring before I went out. And he invited me to go. And I said, because I was pastoring this little church, I didn't have any money to go up there and spend a week in a hotel.
Right. Yeah.
So he said, look, he said, if you'll take the time to go, he said, I'll put you in with one of my staff guys and you can share a room. It won't cost you anything. So that's how I got up there.
If you're enjoying the Iron Men of the Second Mile podcast, please give us a follow on Spotify or a subscribe on the YouTube channel. Both of those actions will help us drive this into the public forum. Your comments can make a big difference, and also the feedback you give us will help us improve in the days ahead. We appreciate you and hope you'll continue to listen to the Iron Men of the Second Mile podcast.